Weapon stereotypes. Gosh, how long has it been? A year? Wow. About time, huh? With that said, this episode is a little bit different from the others because not only does it include multiple weapon categories, but it also aims to cover every single weapon that was released during the production of the revamped Weapon Stereotype series. So basically everything we've missed. And since it's been a year since the last episode, there is a lot to go through. So this video will be split up into two parts, so make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss the second part coming soon. But before we begin, you know what comes first. The disclaimer. These stereotypes do not apply to everyone. There are reasons for them existing, but there will always be exceptions. So, for example, you know how the universal stereotype for the M16 weapons is Hypersweat? Yeah, despite this stereotype existing, then that doesn't actually mean it applies to absolutely everyone. That's the whole point of a stereotype. They poke fun and exaggerate certain aspects of a thing for the sake of comedy. So with the good old disclaimer out of the way, let's finally dive into the big bonus episode of the Phantom Forces Weapon Stereotype series. The Type 20 since it was added was always kinda strange. It possessed a fearsome damage of 34 to 24 with a torso multiplier, but nobody really knew what to do with it. And so nowadays you either see people using it as a discount honey badger with an integral suppressor, or a scuffed LMG with its mighty 60 round drum. Wait, that's all I wrote down? I feel like I'm missing something. Hold on, let me check the Type 20's description for some inspiration. Ah, there it is. Man, the STG has kinda just been forgotten. Aside from the few people who main this gun religiously, you pretty much never see this. But just because their numbers are few does not mean they shouldn't be feared, since you may not see these guys very often, but when you do, may Lord have mercy on your poor soul.
Let's play Spot the Viet Cong Soldier. Did you see him? Of course not.
There are four main types of people who use the M14, so let's start off simple with the good old new player. These guys have just started playing Phantom Forces and have absolutely no clue as to what they're doing, yet somehow they manage to kill you consistently because of the M14's sheer firepower. On the opposite side of the table, you have the rank 150 Hypersweats. These people usually run an M14 with Kozaku sight, compensator, folding or Romanian grip, and lastly the kill unlock tri-laser. You'll usually only see these guys playing on Bazaar and will leave the server the moment they finish clipping their 30 to 28 kill game. Although there is a subgenre of these Hypersweats that can be identified by a single thing, the 6.5 conversion. See, these people used to main the 5.56 ECR, but since the nerf has switched over to the M14 as pure copium. And lastly, you have those who like to play the game historically correct and usually spend more time in chat than actually spawned in.
Oh, let's go! That's class!
Hey guys, Soldier Team Fortress 3 here. The Gyrojet weapons are used by maggots who love the precision and skill required to get the juicy one-shot kill just like I do with my glorious direct hit. Although I'm still waiting for Stylus to do the explosive rocket conversion for these.
The C8A2 has pretty much been overshadowed by its bigger better brother, the C7. The goal for this weapon was to offer some better close and mid-range performance while taking away some long-range accuracy. While in the process of doing this, the C8A2 got recoil that made it barely usable at the ranges it was supposed to be good at, and as a result of this, the C7 resides in the barely used pile of weapons. And so the people who use it are those who either just unlocked it or those who used 20 tactical on it for the super fast reload speed. You only ever see these guys on close range maps and they are always scoring directly in the middle of the scoreboard. Like the last few weapons, the OTS is another strange weapon that you barely see used. However, for some unknown reason, every OTS user always pairs it with the PP2000 and are guaranteed running magazine stock across both weapons.
Cannonball!
Shotguns in Phantom Forces have always lacked a proper try-hard weapon, and as a result was always just used by casuals. That was until the DT-11 was added. When this shotgun came out, every single aggro quickscoper jumped on it, and after a bit of time, the definitive meta setup was discovered. As a result, you'll never see somebody using the DT-11 without one of the many short barrel variants it has alongside remove stock. Now, the USS-12 is an interesting case, as despite its ability to rival the AA-12 and Saiga-12, it's most often used by memers with suppressors and birdshot setups. And despite the USS-12 having nearly zero range with those kinds of setups, you'll still occasionally see these guys on maps like Desert Storm. Although occasionally you will meet the dreaded rank 200 shotgun Hypersweat who constantly uses the server browser, so you'll only ever see him on Elevation, Metro, and Containers of Fun. The Coilgun, now also known as the Advanced Coilgun, is often used by more than its primary variant, the E-Gun. Ever since the buff, people have started to run this more and more, most often with either heavy or light discs alongside the home defense setup. However, the most defining type of Advanced Coilgun users are those who run it alongside the E-Gun for the double Coilgun loadout. Since the 9mm was removed, a lot of HAMR mains have switched off this LMG. However, since its user base is now stripped of the meta slaves, the remaining HAMR mains are a force to be reckoned with. With the new RPM increasing mechanic, these guys can single-handedly lock down any choke point on any map, and because it's a SCAR, you'll see these guys on basically every map where not even snipers are safe from the sheer amount of spam. The FT300 is one of the more rare snipers to see. However, if you run into an FT300 user, they're probably one of three different types of people. First type are those who are running a generic setup with straight pull and extended mag, also known as the marksman kit. These people are pretty much only using the FT300 for the sake of standing out and to feel different. The second type is the 22LR marksman kit memer, also known as the longest reload in the game setup. And lastly, you have those who are running heavy barrel and the 6XC ammo for the insane muzzle velocity and play this game like a TF2 sniper main. The M1903 is most often used alongside the M1911 by the same M14 users who like to play Phantom Forces historically correct, and as a result you'll almost never see an M1903 with any modern day attachments like lasers, grips, or reticle sights. NTW mains are ironically enough the biggest team players you'll ever come across. You'll never come across one that isn't using the 20x110 conversion and nearly always plays with friends whose only job is to spot players so the guy with the NTW can snipe them through the entire map. These guys are just in the server to have a good time, but you might as well Alt F4 if you happen to get spotted in a server with him. Okay, so this is 100% used by memers and only 50% of them actually paid for it. The rest probably won it from one of Corny's many Boxy Buster prize events. G21 users are usually on the newer side, as most high ranks have ditched this pistol despite its pretty good stats for the generic Deagle XIX. However, because of said stats, you probably died more to this pistol at long range than close range. So if there's a Glock that's favored by macro users, then it's definitely this one. Seriously, even though it's a beginner pistol, you'll see more macro users running this than actual low ranks who just unlocked it. There are two types of G40 users. There are those who use it normally as a secondary, and then there are those who use it like a pocket SCAR-L that's been locked to semi, killing you at ridiculous ranges with even more ridiculous clicks per second. Alright, so if you see a G50, chances are it's either being used completely stock or with some elaborate setup that guaranteed has hollow point and the G-stock included in it.
Stop posting about baller. I'm tired of seeing it. My friends on TikTok send me baller. On Discord it's fucking baller. I I was in studio origami, right? And all the channels were just ballers. I showed my super scuffle art to my girlfriend. But you don't got no damn girlfriend. I said, hey babe, when the baller is baller.
People who use this pistol are kind of the Stair Scout users of the pistol category. See, while they don't seem like that much of a threat at first, the rate that these guys can hit headshots in is nothing short of insane. And despite its relatively low damage, these guys can melt you at range with its powerful 2.2 headshot multiplier and insane accuracy. I guarantee you this, you will only ever see this pistol with hollow point ammo. Never ever the other alternatives, and hell, not even the stock ammo. Always hollow point. Kinda like the Executioner mains, these guys are in a eternal battle with the Deagle XIX users to prove which pistol is the best. However, despite them pretty much getting the L handed right to them, they laughably still try to convince the entire server that the Grizzly is somehow better than the XIX or even the Executioner. Automag users are basically the direct opposite of M2011 users. See, at first they may seem super threatening and may hit some lucky shots here and there to further insinuate this fear, but in reality they can barely hit the broadside of a barn from 20 studs away, and are hilariously terrible at defending themselves in close range.
You serious?
Alright, so there are three types of GSP users. The first type is the clueless rank 100 that just unlocked it and immediately equipped the .32 conversion as he saw it offered higher damage and more bullets. The second one is the memer who pre-bought Ratshon on this for god knows why and just runs aimlessly around on warehouse and metro servers. And lastly you have the stock GSP user. This guy has a 50-50 chance of being an absolute god or just god awful. If you see him pairing it with the other Olympic weapons like the FT300 or DT11, he's most likely on the other half of the 50-50 spectrum. However, if you barely see him using his primary, then you've just stumbled upon the god amongst gods. This guy will put even the most skilled Stair Scout mains aim to shame, with his insane accuracy combined with unreal reaction time. Alright, so this gun is pretty much pure copium for its users as they were initially really hyped when it was released as it would be the first secondary to be able to use a grip, but then realized after pre-buying it that it sucks. Like it's bad. Real bad. But they still hang on to it either because they think it looks cool or because they don't want to feel like they wasted money. Okay, despite this thing being designed for sniping, for some reason every single person using this pre-bought the 308 Winchester conversion and sometimes the light barrel to basically turn this into a discount single bullet Deagle XIX. And I seriously don't understand why they do this. And why it's the case with literally every single Sass user, but it is what it is, I guess. Alright, so Super Shorty users can be divided into two categories. Those who don't use the traditional pump and those who do. Those who don't use the traditional pump are just your average low rank who just unlocked this and will proceed to use it for the next 50 ranks. And then there are those who do use the traditional pump. These guys can pretty much be described in just two words.
Heavy gaming.
These melees are pretty much only seen during the summer in the hands of a melee collector, and even then seeing these in an average server is incredibly unlikely since these melees have pretty much been forgotten and are only on accounts dedicated to collecting rare melees. Alright, so chances are when you unlocked this you thought it would be some cool military themed knife or blade, only to be extremely disappointed. And because of the disappointment that came from the unlock, you'll pretty much never see this used. The training bayonet is rarely used without either the Mosin or the Obras. Like the sawed-off, it's mostly known for being a set completer and is therefore not often seen used alone. Set runners like these are more on the casual side and usually play the game just for fun. This weapon is used by true OGs of the game, who remain stubborn and faithful to the old way of playing Phantom Forces, and as a result, you'll never see them using a gun or attachment that was added after 2015. Alright, so people who use the Icicle probably main spy in TF2, as this melee is very similar to a knife that the spy can use. As a result, you'll normally see this used alongside a revolver like the Red Hawk 44 or 1858 New Army. You'll also probably notice that he almost never uses a primary and sticks to using flank routes and his melee for most of the match. Now, Bloxy users are normally just low ranks who like having a little melee variety between loadouts. The reason they chose the Bloxy specifically is because it has more range than most melees available at an early rank.
First of all, her name isn't the Phantom Forces cat, it's Auntie. It's a beautiful name for a beautiful person, and you'd all do well to refer to her as such. If you don't even know her name, then you have no right wanting to have sex with her. Secondly, wanting to bang her is just gross. Saying that you want to bang Auntie is objectifying her, and is not okay. If you ever wanted to bang Auntie, you should be disgusted with yourself. Unlike you cretins, I, however, respect her. Sure, it is possible I may consider her rather bangable, but I wouldn't dare do such a thing. Auntie is a fucking queen, and deserves to be treated as such. I do not want to bang the Phantom Forces cat. I want to hug her. I want to be in a healthy and loving relationship with Auntie. I want to wake up every morning in bed with her lying peacefully next to me as the morning sun shines in through the window. I want to make her breakfast every morning and tend to her every need. I want her to feel like she is truly loved, because she is. I want her to be by my side for my whole life, because I know that she is the perfect woman for me, and I am perfect for her. I want to be with her every day, just so I can tell her how much I fucking love her. I want her to know how much I adore everything, and her amazing personality, her incredible arsenal sense, and her extremely impressive aiming abilities, and her absolutely beautiful head-to-body ratio. And finally, her beautiful, beautiful eyes. However, if I were to have sex with Auntie,
The Nata Hatchet, or however you pronounce that name, is a melee you surprisingly most often see with memers, and if you get killed by somebody using it, then there's a good chance they'll type in chat,
"Welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker."
5, 4, 3, 2.
And with that kind of fitting meme, considering this is a two-part video out of the way, I'd like to welcome you to the end of this video. Now, while you wait for part 2, I'd strongly recommend you subscribe and turn notifications on so when part 2 eventually comes out, you'll be the first to view it. And also, if you made it this far like a true gamer, make sure to drop a like on this video to instantly become epic. But until next time, peace.